community, they have a different kind of population profile altogether. Though it's a compact one, we have advantage one, but you have so many disadvantages of the urban stations also. The urban area stations have most of these stations have only 50 or maybe 100, maximum 100 watt state power. But whereas we have full of high-rise buildings, there are a lot of problems regarding transmission. Then apart from that, since urban areas getting volunteers it's not at all possible. So if at all we need volunteers to come, we need community participation. Sometimes we need to have some money to pay to the volunteers, community volunteers, otherwise they simply cannot come. Thirdly, the urban areas, the very profile of the community is so diverse. We have middle class, we have higher middle class, we have very displaced people, we have slum dwellers, we have students community. So to make a real community ready, you have to program, make your content, you have to really produce your content as per the various tastes of the various that community. So the campus community has another problem, because as we discussed already in the previous session, people have talked about, that campus has its own uniqueness of its community. Some people think that the students, teachers and the employees belonging to a campus is a community. Whereas the fringe villages around the university or institution also belong to the community or not. Whereas we have to concentrate on the community, students community, or maybe we have a different community. If that, how to do it, and what are the challenges we have to in running those stations. Then the real process of transition, how to actually, in what stage the transition process of the community ownership, the question, very question of community ownership. How to do it actually? In the discussion, the group dealt to it. The actual process and how to do it, and what do you actually mean by handing over the station to the community. So actual process, what do you mean by that? How to do it, and at what stage we are in as of today. So I think all of these things will be as it come out from the report of our speakers. So I think without losing time, I should immediately start. So I start from here, or maybe will be the last one. Okay. We start from Father Joseph, and that group dealt with the country, so that it was very well represented. And as already mentioned, Mr. Vipin Raj was the reporter. In fact, the time allotted was 1.5 hours. We got exactly 45 minutes for the discussion. So the findings and conclusions are very, very limited, and they need, some of them really require explanations also. So I would just put it very briefly, our findings, and then maybe in the discussion, some of you, if you need more explanation on that, we can do. So in fact, this topic, as you already have seen, it is issues, challenges, and way forward. What are the issues that we are facing? What are the challenges in rural and tribal or indigenous regions face, and how do we look at way forward? Maybe in the sharing of some people, it has already been shared that how they have encountered and how they have faced a challenge or an issue that faced in the practical field. So I have grouped the findings in two groups. That is issues and challenges, number one, and number two, way forward. So under issues and challenges, one of the things, I just point by point I say, some of the stations, started the community radio station, and then only the participation of people was thought about. Therefore, very pertinent mention was made that in some place the people were not participating. They thought, whose radio station is it? And then later, when the management or the organization that run the station, when they met the people and briefed to them, there is increased participation of the people. So the pre-launching activity was comparatively less, it seems. Then another problem that was shared is, see, in rural and tribal regions, the problem faced is that the area is sparsely populated. So for example, I come from a district in Kerala where our population density is 382 per square kilometer. Whereas in the rural area, in that 1 square kilometer, you will have maybe 2 lakhs of people. So, and also there are certain geographical barriers faced by stations run in rural, hilly regions, tribal regions, etc. Then another problem faced in the rural area is the migrant population. A set of people, a large number of people are there for a while, maybe for 6 months, and then they move out, and then another group comes. So the whole community, the definition of the community itself, they change color, they change composition and all that. Then in tribal regions, there are many languages, indigenous languages. So which one do you take up? This is another problem. Then in the way forward and how they met the challenge, some people shared that they are making use of maybe the language spoken by maximum number of people. Up to 3. In my own case, I have other than regional language Malayalam program, we have broadcast in 4 regional languages. Regional language in the sense tribal dialect. So then the traveling and transportation is a big problem, because in villages and rural areas, it is the access to transportation facility is very much limited. So people will have to, they cannot think of an evening to come and spend in the radio station, because they may not get any transportation facility. They cannot hire a vehicle to travel back home. So this is a problem. And in fact, even to travel also, they need to spend quite a bit of money from their hands. So this was one of the problems that was faced by almost all the groups. So some sort of, honorarium or, some sort of allowance has to be given. But most of the stations are not able, therefore what happens, they will have to go to the village. They will have to go to the remote village. There also money. They need transportation, so that adds up to the cost of running the station.
Learning, how did you do something really well? 2 stations that came up that have exhausted the advertising time, and they broadcast 24 hours a day. So I want to really learn. So I think that there's a lot to learn, and this was 45 minutes was like way too short a time. I think the thing that emerged, the most important thing that emerged were some of the common characteristics of most city-based PR stations is that they are operating in a media clutter environment. Some have 5 FM stations, some have 15. So it's not as if they're not broadcasting in a place where they are the only, or maybe the second FM station. All the ones with good engagement. It was evident that they have listenership. People are engaged with that community radio station or multilingual. They are broadcasting in more than one language. They are inclusive. They are bringing in voices of excluded communities, which could be migrants, which could be locals speaking multiple dialects. So there are stations that are broadcasting in 5 languages, some even more, and they're doing it despite the fact that there is a dominant language group in the area. So they're broadcasting in English, Hindi, maybe Garhwali, Punjabi, and to kind of bring in all those communities into the radio station. In a city, one of the things that came up was that music is critical. I don't know, somehow in my own experience, I would say every CR station should have music, but the inputs that came in from the group was that in a city you cannot have a music station, a CR station that does not broadcast music. It is music that ultimately brought in the listeners. I'm not sure what kind of music they're always referring to. Is it Bollywood music or is it folk music? Or in one case, a station in Chandigarh had a very, I think, an interesting idea where they featured local bands, and that's what they featured on their radio station, which I think in an urban environment is a great idea.